Okay, so it's being recorded, so Woody, don't tell the truth.
Okay. All right, Barney, I'm going to call the roll now to make sure that we have a complete attendance list. We have Kitty Brown with a proxy. I have Kevin Burke, Jane Daniels, Betsy Jack, Sarah Eidelman present. Cindy Lanzetta with a proxy. Is Deanie LeBeau here? Jane McLaughlin.
Good.
And a proxy. Mark Molinaro is a no. Dennis Murray, Sarah Olson, and Aaron Tobin are here. Daniela Weiss sent a proxy. Jeannie Williams is here. Stefan Yarovec here.
Okay. Hello, Stefan.
Okay. Wint Aldrich is here. Is Vincent Altieri on?
On.
Thank you, Vincent. Kathleen Bukowski. Carla Castillo. We have a proxy from Meg Downey, and Bob Elliott holds that proxy and is on. Lloyd Ensinger
Bob Elliott is there.
Yes. Marcel Forrestal. We have a proxy from Sandy Galick. Betty Head is on. Barney is on. Mary McNamara, Rich Schiaffo are all on. We have a proxy from Michelle Smith. Linda Vonderheide and Joanna Yan are on. Tom is on for Chris Leo and Frank Rooney. Are there any other delegates on?
Sarah Olson.
Sarah, oh, I'm sorry. How did I miss you? I skipped right over you.
I'm on till 11 and then sent you a proxy.
Okay, thank you. And if there's no one, is there anyone else on whose name I haven't called?
Scott, Andy Bicking from the advisory committee.
Hey, Andy, how are you? I'm glad
fine.
you're here because I'm going to need your help pronouncing the trail name. From staff, we have Cody Arana, Andy Beers, Beth Campachero, Shannon Day, Dan Jeanson, and Scott Keller.
And I think one more person may have joined, Scott.
Okay. Who just joined? Hello?
Well,
Hi, who just joined?
It's Jane McLaughlin.
Hi, Jane.
okay.
Hi.
Nope. And one more. Who just joined?
Good morning, Scott. This is Jamie Ethier, Department of State.
Hey, Jamie. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
Okay, let's get going, Scott.
All right. The first item on the agenda is to welcome new board members. Carla Castillo, who's been appointed to the council by the Senate majority. Carla is a sustainability and neighborhood revitalization professional, currently working as the Deputy Executive Director and Clean Energy Communities Coordinator at the Hudson Valley Regional Council in Newburgh. Has Carla joined the call?
No, but Newburgh could certainly use it.
Yes.
Sure.
The next appointment also to the council and also from the Senate majority is Lori Ensinger. Lori is currently the president of the Westchester Land Trust in Bedford Hills, where she has been for the past 7 or so years. Lori, would you like to say anything?
Sure, Scott, thank you. I'm thrilled to be a new member to the council and looking forward to contributing from the perspective of nearly a lifelong member of the Lower Hudson Valley or resident of the Lower Hudson Valley and participating from Westchester County. So thank you.
Welcome aboard.
I thought I heard someone join during that section where we were introducing the new board members. Did someone join?
No, it was Sarah Eidelman. I got disconnected, so I had to rejoin.
Okay.
Okay, well,
all right.
welcome back, Sarah.
Scott, this is Sarah.
Yeah.
I'd also suggest that you acknowledge the departing board members. Or perhaps at another time.
Yeah, I don't have that information at my fingertips, Sarah.
Okay.
You're right, but I think both of these positions may have been. Oh no, wait a minute. Sally Mazzarella and Steve Saland are the departing board members who Carla and Lori are replacing, and we.
Sally is leaving. Sally was
Yes.
a founding member.
Well, the Senate majority has changed, and they've appointed someone new, Chairman.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, welcome aboard, whoever that person may be.
All right. Kevin, would you like to go over the agenda review?
I would. So for today's meeting, and again, thank you everyone for joining us on the 27th of May for this meeting, which we rescheduled. After we review the agenda and approve of past minutes, we're going to open the council, community council portion of the meeting, followed by the Conservancy and the National Heritage Area, and finish up with new business and upcoming board minutes, board meeting dates. Two items that will be added to the agenda, I noted last time, are going to be an update on the Empire State Trail from Andy Beers, and also Scott is going to walk us through the Greenway plan for reopening in this new New York after the plaza. So that's the review. Are there any comments or questions? Otherwise, we'll see 2 minutes. Great.
Okay, let's start because we got everybody waiting.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
So we've got to approve the minutes from our past meetings, and that begins with the combined meeting of the Greenway and Conservancy and Council on October 9th.
Okay, I move their adoption.
Right, Barney, second.
Second.
Who seconded? Please
Sarah.
identify yourself.
Sarah Olson.
Thank you, Sarah. All in favor? Signal by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Great. Okay. And same for the November 6th meeting. We have to just have Greenway Conservancy members vote to approve those minutes from the Greenway Conservancy meeting by phone on November 6th. So can I have a first from a Conservancy member?
This is Jane Daniels. I move we accept the minutes.
Thank you, Jane. And a second? Conservancy member, please.
Second from Sarah Olson again.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. Terrific. Greenway members, Conservancy members, all in favor to accept those minutes, please signal by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Great. And we have one more to approve, which are two grant committee meeting calls on December 6th, 2019, and March 5th of this year. And this is just for grant committee members. So I will need a first and a
I
second.
move their approval. This is Wynn Aldridge.
Thank you, Wynn. And a second from the grant committee?
I'm sure there is one. Don't worry. Let's go ahead. Proceed.
Okay. Bob Elliott, can you second those, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, all in favor from the grant committee meeting to approve those minutes, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you. All right, Barney, over to you for the community council portion of the meeting.
Okay, now I find a quorum on the phone, and so Scott, what do we need to do first? Approve the last two meetings, right?
Nope, we've done that. We're going to appoint Jeannie Williams from Saratoga County and Sarah Eidelman from Washington County to the board of the Greenway Conservancy. And I'm going to give a little background, if that's all right with you, Chairman.
Sure.
The
Yeah,
Greenway
go
law
proceed.
allowed Saratoga and Washington counties to opt into the Greenway. They were not in the original Greenway legislation, but they had to do it with the support of all of the communities in each county. The opt-in portion of the Greenway law, unfortunately, has no provision to appoint members to the council board, unlike all the other Greenway counties. The chairs have been wanting to have representatives from those counties since they joined serving on a Greenway board. However, neither of our boards appoints members to the council. The council board, however, does hold 8 appointments to the Conservancy, 2 of which are vacant. Chairman McHenry and Chairman Burke are, with Chairman Burke's concurrence, is proposing that Jeannie Williams from Saratoga County and Sarah Eidelman from Washington County be appointed to the Conservancy board. Jeannie, who is the executive director of the Feeder Canal Alliance in Glens Falls and a Saratoga County resident, has been working on the Greenway's behalf for many years. She has encouraged many Saratoga and Washington County communities to join the Greenway and to accept successfully apply for grants. Sarah Eidelman is the former town of Greenway supervisor and an early Washington County partner. I was honored to have Sarah lead me on a tour of her town shortly after they joined the Greenway in 2010.
Yeah.
Jeannie and Sarah have graciously agreed to serve on the Conservancy Board. Chairman, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you're doing it very well. Proceed.
Okay.
Barney, I'd just like to interject here. This is Wint. The late Congressman Gerald Solomon, R.I.P. He's the one who made all these problems for us. I'm glad we're moving beyond that era.
Jeannie, would you like to say anything?
You've got a mind like a steel trap, as I think. Is it, no, I proceed right ahead, Scott. With the first week.
Jeannie, I would like to give Jeannie and Sarah a chance to say anything if they'd like to. Jeannie
yes,
first.
please.
This is Jeannie. It's quite an honor to be asked to be on your board, committee, council, and I love representing the Hudson River Valley Greenway in the northern section of your area, and it's an honor to be asked. Thank you.
And Sarah.
Well, we're delighted you're here.
Hi, everyone. This is Sarah. And like Jeannie, it is an honor. I was thrilled to be asked. I have spent my entire life in Washington County, which is basically an agricultural county. And so as someone said earlier, it's exciting for me to be able to bring my perspective to the Hudson River Valley Greenway. And as a matter of fact, I spent some time yesterday on the Hudson. I'm very active in the Hudson Crossing Park. I'm the chair of the chair of the board for Hudson Crossing Park. And whenever you're in this area, we would love to take you to Hudson Crossing Park.
It's a beautiful park.
It is beautiful.
Chairman, I'm assuming you want to do one vote for everything, so I'll move on to the community designations, if that's all right with you.
Sure. Yes, please.
We have received requests for designation from 3 Washington County communities to join the Greenway, the towns of Easton and White Creek and the village of Hudson Falls. Hudson Falls actually passed their resolution back in 2010, but we only received it recently when they included it in a grant application. They had never sent it to us before. This will bring us up to 14 of the 25 Greenway communities in Washington County being members of the Greenway, and 281 out of 324 in the Greenway area, which is 87%.
Good for you.
Chairman, we need a vote appointing Jeannie and Sarah to the Conservancy Board and welcoming the new Greenway communities. And as an aside, council members Carla and Lori can vote, and Conservancy members Jeannie and Sarah do not on this.
Okay. Please to move it. Barney. We got a second?
I'll second. Sandy Galiff, if you could just put me in the voting category, yes.
Are you seconding it, Assemblywoman?
I will, yes.
Okay, so that's it. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Okay, I think we have a valid vote, Scott. Now what's next?
Yes. Welcome, Jeannie and Sarah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next is a point of information. We don't need a vote on this, but the town of East Fishkill has adopted the Dutchess County Compact Guides. They adopted the 7 Greenway guides added to the Dutchess County Greenway Connections Compact Plan. These guides include center and green spaces, slower, safer streets, rural roads, building bicycle networks, convenience stores with gas pumps, recycling and waste collection, and green infrastructure. Dutchess County Planning has previously made presentations to our boards on all of these guides, and the boards approved the amendments in the Dutchess County's Compact Plan.
Dutchess County was the first on, as you remember, Scott.
Yes, they were the first to join, and they were our model. Last item, there are no community planning or compact grants this time because due to the state, awarding of such grants has been suspended until further notice due to the state budget crisis brought on by the pandemic. We don't have access to those funds at this time. Our plan is to, our plan, talked over with the chairs prior to this, is to continue to hold the grants that the grants committee has approved until.
How much have we approved, Scott? Do you remember?
I don't remember the amount. It's around 33,000, but I don't remember the exact amount. Once we get past this and we have the authority to award grants again, we will go back to the communities and see if they still require the grants, and if they do, we'll bring them before the board at that time.
Yeah, let's do that, and let's do it with dispatch.
I don't know when that will be. Chairman Burr, it's over to you.
Great, thank you, Scott, and thank you, Barney. This is now calling to order the Greenway Conservancy portion of the meeting. I'd like to call that to order formally and kick off by asking Andy Beers for an update on our most important project, the Empire State Trail. Andy?
Is Andy on board, I hope?
Yes. Could you mute your phones, please?
Good.
Yeah.
So
thank you for inviting me on the call. On the Empire State Trail, the trail construction has largely continued to advance through this spring, despite the challenges in the state. Trail construction and public works projects were generally designated as essential construction under the governor's executive orders. So by and large, the work has continued. There have been a few projects that have experienced some delays.
Andy, can you hold on just a second? For all those who are, Andy, hold on a second. For all those listening to Andy, please mute your phone. It's very hard to hear.
Okay. Well, Andy, you're doing terrific stuff. This is Barney. Thank God you're aboard.
Yep. Thank you. So virtually all the projects remain on schedule to complete construction by December of this year. There may be a handful of projects that spill into 2021, just given the complexities of, project work and the environment that we're in. But we feel very good about that. The other thing is our program is working on and greatly enhancing the website for the Empire State Trail to provide a much more robust website that will provide highly detailed interactive maps of the trail routes across the entire 750 miles and information about attractions and parking and everything else around the trail. So that website is slated to go to launch by the end of June. On the Albany-Hudson Electric Trail, which is the project the Greenway, of course, is constructing in Rensselaer and Columbia counties, our construction remains on pace to complete the entire trail by the end of by the end of November is our schedule that we're still remaining on. Our contractors were able to continue working through the spring. Some sections of the trail will likely open in early or mid-July, and the entire trail completed by November. So we're very pleased with the way our contractors have been performing, and it's great to see the trail coming together. And even though it's not officially open, there are significant parts of the trail, frankly, that people are using on a pretty robust basis, given that what we do these days is we walk or ride to get exercise.
That's thanks to you, Andy. Your leadership.
Thanks to a lot of people. Yes, thank you, Barney. And then finally, you will recall that of the 36-mile Albany-Hudson Electric Trail, there is 2 miles in Columbia County, town of Stockport, where some adjacent landowners have started various lawsuits against the Greenway, attempting to block construction of the trail. To date, all of the decisions that have been issued by Columbia Supreme Court have been in the Greenway's favor. That litigation continues to grind on and will go on for some time. We are still constructing that section of the trail. The judge declined to issue an injunction stopping us. And so, frankly, by the time this lawsuit is resolved, the trail may well be open at this point. But to date, the Attorney General is representing us, and the New York State Attorney General's office feels very confident that we're going to ultimately prevail. That is my report.
Great. That's marvelous. Scott?
All right. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Next
now, what do we need to do? What do we have besides self-congratulations to administer?
The Conservancy still has some business to run, Barney.
What?
The Conservancy still has some business to do. We have to get through that.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
are there any questions for Andy about the trail or updates on the trail?
Will there be some signage available for connecting trails in the future?
Is that Vince, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince. So happy to do an offline conversation. I mean, we're not formally marking connecting trails with signage, but other than sort of where they connect with the trail itself, literally where they intersect, there's kind of directional signage or informational signage.
Yeah.
But there is additional, for example, on the website, we're going to be acknowledging connecting trails like the Mario Cuomo Bridge Path, for example, when that opens and so forth. So directly, we can certainly have that conversation in detail.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
Great. And there's one more question.
Kevin, this is Mary McNamara from Ulster County, and if it needs to be an offline question, Andy, that's fine. But I was wondering if there were more updates on the Rhinecliff Bridge, the Rhinecliff-Kingston Bridge, and the pedestrian trail being able to accommodate bike trails.
So the Kingston-Rhinecliff Bridge is operated by the New York State Bridge Authority, and we gave partial funding for a project they did to build a separated pedestrian walkway, a sidewalk essentially, across the existing bridge by reconfiguring the lanes and putting in a barricade. Bicyclists are not technically allowed to ride on the sidewalk. They have the choice of either walking across the bridge or continuing to ride, as they historically did, on the shoulders of the bridge. It's not, you know, those are the two options that are currently available. So there is safe passage for people across the bridge.
Okay. Thank you, Andy.
Terrific. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Kevin.
Of course. Thank you for the good questions. If there are any other questions, please ask them now. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next item. Okay. Thank you, Andy. All right. So, Scott, we've got some more things to do for the contingency, including an approval, a designation, and a budget adoption. Take it away.
Yes. We have a first item up is approval of a discretionary award for the Albany Hudson Electric Trail maintenance for $2,500. Once AHAT is constructed, the trail must be managed. Right now, that is the Greenway's responsibility. Andy is working to secure maintenance agreements with communities and nonprofits throughout the corridor in Columbia and Rensselaer counties. One such nonprofit specifically created for the purpose of maintaining almost all of the trail in Columbia County is the Columbia Friends of the Electric Trail, CFET for short.
Well, that's great.
CFET will be maintaining the trail in the towns of Chatham, Kinderhook, Stuyvesant, Stockport, and Greenport. CFET's maintenance activities will include patrolling the trail, mowing grass, trimming vegetation, removing trees or limbs that have fallen on the trail, and removing litter. The board has previously authorized executive directors to make a discretionary award for up to $2,500 between board meetings for critical projects that cannot wait for approval until the next meeting. When such an award is made by an executive director, the board is then asked to approve it at their next meeting. CFET had applied for a trail grant back in November, and because our December meeting was canceled, they applied for it in February. The grant was reviewed and approved by the Grants Committee and was on the board's agenda for March 11th. That meeting was postponed immediately before New York went on pause for the pandemic. CFET will begin maintenance on the completed sections of the trail this month or early next. The organization was founded solely for this purpose and needed these funds to stand up the maintenance operation in a timely fashion, which was occurring before the board was scheduled to meet again. Andy informed me of the criticality of the need, and I chose to make the award. An MOU with CFET was signed on March 17th, well before the fiscal crisis began. There are no other Conservancy trail grants to vote on, or because of the state budget crisis. We're doing the same thing with those as we are with planning grants. The next item is Greenway Trail designation, and Andy Bicking helped me with this pronunciation. Is it Mawignac Preserve?
Mawignac,
Road
yes, Mawignac.
All right. The Catskill Creek Mawignac Preserve Trail in the town of Catskill is a 0.9-mile loop accessing the shores of the Catskill Creek. This is a joint designation request from the Green Land Trust as the trail manager and Scenic Hudson as the land owner. That's Green Land Trust is in Greene County, not the color green. Mawignac is a Mohican word meaning place where two rivers come together. We have provided a grant in the past for funding interpretive trail signs at this former Native American site, and the Green Land Trust is working with the Mohican tribe to develop this project.
Okay, do you need a motion on that, Scott?
We're going to wait and do them all at once, Barney.
Okay, good. Good, that's a good way to proceed.
The last item on the Conservancy agenda is to adopt a Paris budget for the state fiscal year 20 to 24. That does not mean you're sending the staff to Paris. This is a broad stroke multi-year budget required for the Public Authority Reporting Information System, which is every bit as much fun as it sounds. The significant drop-off in anticipated state funding and expenses after 2021 is the result of the completion of the Empire State Trail. You all have that one-page budget in your packet. At our next meeting, we will provide two versions of a detailed operating budget for the year, one for full funding and one a contingency budget assuming only 50% funding from New York State. Chairman Burke, we need a vote affirming the grant for CFAT, designating the Mawignac Trail, and adopting the Paris budget. Conservancy members Jeannie and Sarah Eidelman can vote. Council members Carla and Lori do not. Chairman Burke?
Great, thank you. You bet, Scott. Okay, let's call for that one omnibus motion of approval, adoption. Can I have a first from the Greenway Conservancy?
This is Betsy. I make a motion.
Thank you. And a second, please?
J.D. Williams, I second.
Great, thank you. All in favor, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Any recusals? Okay, the motions are adopted. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, all of our Greenway Conservancy members. And now we will turn to the National Heritage Area, and which is different from the state portions that Scott has just been reviewing. Scott, do you want to give us a quick update on how that's going and then move us into the grants, please?
Sure. Actually, I'm going to do the grants first and then give you an update on the programs. So we'll get the vote out of the way first. The National Heritage Area Heritage Development Grant, we are actually allowed to still award these grants because they're federally funded. In spite of the state's budget crisis, we can go ahead with these, and we do have these funds for these grants in hand in the bank. The first grant is for the Friends of Schuyler Mansion, sharing a fuller story through multiple perspectives. They've requested $5,000, and the grants committee recommends it. The grant is to Meet the Characters. Meet the Characters is a video-based project funded in part with a 2014 NHA grant. In that particular program, the visitor meets an enslaved man, a consigned tenant farmer, a military secretary, a disgruntled business partner, Schuyler's wife Catherine, and a former lady-in-waiting to Marie Antoinette during the French Revolution. It is one of the mansion's most popular programs, and as such, they're looking to expand it. This new project will advance the site's work by sharing a more complete history of multiple perspectives by supporting the addition of 4 18th century voices: a Native American, a loyalist, an enslaved woman who runs away from bondage, and an opinionated Schuyler daughter. The next one is for the Natural Heritage Trust, a thematic survey of Dutch heritage resources in the greater Hudson Valley. They have requested $5,000, and the Grants Committee is recommending that funding. The Natural Heritage Trust will conduct a survey of Dutch heritage resources in the greater Hudson Valley to identify sites in 16 counties from New York City to Schenectady. The results of this project will be a publicly accessible database and historic context statement that will be shared with the public, educators, preservationists, scholars, and tourism professionals. Our funds will be limited to only pay for work on sites or surveys on sites within the heritage area. The next grant is for the Jewish Federation of Ulster County on behalf of the Rear Center. Furnishing and signage for Rear's Bakery, $4,995 requested, and that amount approved by the Grants Committee, or recommended by the Grants Committee. The Rear Center will furnish Rear's Bakery retail shop and oven room and add directional interpretive signage to their historic buildings at 99 to 101 Broadway in Kingston. Historic bakery tours of Rear's Bakery will be a permanent exhibit that highlights Jewish, immigrant, women's, culinary, and small business histories of the Hudson Valley. Furnishing and signage for Rear's Bakery will set Rear's Bakery's retail shop and oven room with antique props and reproduction artifacts. All will be permanently exhibited. The last award that we have is for the Saugerties Historic Preservation Commission for a project entitled Saugerties 2020 Historic Heritage Ramble. They have requested, and we are recommending the Grants Committee is recommending $4,000. The town of Saugerties seeks to host and promote a self-guided tour that calls attention to its unique historic landmarks and places of interest as a collective unit, as part of and in coordination with the Hudson River Valley Ramble. A pre-printed PDF brochure will be produced. As part of this project, a permanent interactive database of historical lands, structures, and designated and protected lands will be created. And they put this grant application in before there was a pandemic, but a self-guided tour is exactly what we're looking to do with this year's Ramble. So, Chairman, we need a vote approving the grants.
Okay.
Both Conservative and Council members vote, so all 4 new members will vote on this.
Okay.
Bob Elliott.
So it's an omnibus. Okay. Ms. Bonnie, who will propose it?
Bob Elliott will.
Bob Elliott. Who will second?
Wind Aldrich.
Wind Aldrich. Okay. Let's call for a vote. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? None. All right. So we've got that's done. Is there another one to vote on?
There's nothing else to vote on. I have some updates, Barney.
Okay.
I wanted to update on, I want to provide some program updates on the NHA. Our Heritage Development and Teaching the Hudson Valley grant programs, we're allowed to continue to award these grants, and to help slightly alleviate the stress our heritage sites are seeing, and as all schools are closed and no field trips have been made, we suddenly have a number of return grants. We have reconfigured
where does
both.
Money come from?
It's from our National Heritage Area Appropriations through the National Park
Thank
Service.
you.
So what we want to do is allow heritage sites to develop virtual programming or social distance measures for on-site programming, and to use their staff to create this programming. This is a change, as in the past we have not allowed staff costs to be reimbursable in our grants, but in this time when no or limited revenues are coming into heritage sites, and as virtual programming is rarely revenue generating, and when many in the public are desperate for new content, we feel this reconfiguration will help to provide a bridge to better times for our historic sites, assisting them in keeping staff on the payroll while at the same time drawing interest in new programming and providing a new outlet for a public that is cooped up at home. Teaching the Hudson Valley has a May 30th deadline for new applications for grants up to $1,000. And for Heritage Development grants, we have opened a special round with a June 19th deadline for application submissions. The Heritage Development grants are capped, as always, at $5,000. Moving on to the Hudson River Valley Ramble, we're continuing to plan to hold a Ramble event in September. We are prepared to cancel it, and we are expecting to have a greatly modified version. We are reaching a decision point in the next 2 weeks on viability due to the number of registered events and contract deadlines with our brochure design firm. If we hold the Ramble, we will require event organizers to follow all pandemic-related restrictions in place at the time and in the region locality of their event. We are also encouraging self-guided events this year. Our NHA website, we have reconfigured the menus on our NHA website, adding a program menu and moving over numerous items from the About menu to make it simpler to navigate. This was necessitated because we've created a couple of new pages since the pandemic started which I'll tell you about shortly. The program menu is where you will now find the Ramble, the Train Tour app, Voices of the Hudson, grants, sponsorships, women's rights in the Hudson Valley, Dutch history in the Hudson Valley, trails, and tourism information. The About menu is now shrunk to have themes, press room, newsletters, our staff, partners, social media, and contact. One of the new pages that we put in is a women's rights page. The women's rights program that was to be put on jointly by the National Park Service and us was originally scheduled for December and postponed due to weather, rescheduled for March, and postponed again by the pandemic. Much like women getting the right to vote, the centennial celebration is taking longer than it should. We have recommended to the Park Service that this milestone be celebrated in 2021, not skipped. In the meantime, we have added this page to our NHA website called Women's Rights, and you can find it under the program menu on HudsonRiverValley.com. Hudson River Train Tour app. We recently published version 2.2 of the Train Tour app. The app now has 9 themes, up from 6, including Voices tours that are in parallel with existing tours for what you can see on the train, including What's Out the Window, Quarter of Commerce, Freedom and Dignity, and Nature and Culture. We have added 10 new stories, bringing our total to 28. The 10 stories feature Birds Along the Hudson, Bridges of the Hudson featuring the Bear Mountain Bridge, John Burroughs, Commercial Fishing, Geology of the Catskills, Ice Harvesting, River Pilots, Schuyler Mansion, and 2 voiced by Chairman Burke, FDR, one on FDR and one on Newburgh Newburgh Immigration. All 3 NHA themes now have at least 9 stories, and we will be adding a brick-making story to the Quarter of Commerce this year. The second page that we've added to our website is Voices of the Hudson. We wanted to introduce our website audience to the Hudson Valley and to the Train Tour app. So we have made all 28 stories available on our NHA website. Again, HudsonRiverValley.com. It's under the program menu, and it's Voices of the Hudson. And that's it for the program update. If the chairman have anything to add?
Do you need any votes for that, Scott?
No, sir.
No. All right.
All right, then I will move into new business, and that's going to entirely consist of me talking about how we're operating in the COVID-19 era. Our staff has been working from home since March 22nd entirely. Everyone has access to email and the files they need. We have an external drive stored off-site with all of our files as of the start of New York on pause. Shannon or I go into the office weekly to get snail mail. We scan any relevant mail to files and email them out to the staff that need to handle it. We hold weekly staff calls to catch up, see how everyone is doing, update each other on the projects we're working on and the status, and I update the staff on the status of the pandemic and how our office is operating and the state's response to the pandemic. We are covering 100% of our duties at about 90% efficiency. There are some cumbersome processes not being in the same place, and we are missing some software on our home computers, which we have on our office computers, and we're working to rectify this with the Information Technology Services division that handles all of our computers and our networking. Good news is we're able to hold these staff meetings, collaborate on tasks, respond to all voicemails and emails quickly, including all of our shared email boxes, answer phone calls directly from those of us who forwarded our phones, sell and fulfill water trail map and guide orders, which have had surprisingly good sales, update our websites when they've needed it, participate in trainings and webinars. We are regularly remotely meeting our partners, and all projects are continuing. As an example, 2 weeks ago, we coordinated the launch of version 2 of the Train Tour app with a private company, updated our website to add the Voices page and a refreshed app page touting version 2.0, devised the new NHA grant rounds and the new Teaching the Hudson Valley grant round, including creating the forms and updating the websites, and we featured all of it in a timely fashion in our newsletter. So it was kind of a typical day for our staff, whether they're working in the office or not. They do really good work. Moving forward, we are coordinating with the governor's office and the other agencies in our building on when and how we return to our office. I don't have anything more to report on that reopening plan at this time, other than it has been submitted to the governor's office and passed the first round of approvals and is going through another round. The focus of it is to emphasize the safety of our staff and partners first and foremost, since we are effectively working from home. We're not going to rush back in until we know it's safe to do so. Let me conclude this with a note of appreciation for the staff. When the governor's office called upon all state agencies to assist the Department of Labor with processing an enormous backlog of unemployment claims, Cody Arana and Dan Jeanson volunteered. Beth and Shannon agreed to take over their duties while they were gone. As of yet, the Department of Labor has not needed either Cody or Dan to come to work for them, but I want to offer my appreciation to them for their willingness to step up in a time of crisis, and to Beth and Shannon for their willingness and to add to their workload. Everyone
what do
is
you
working
need
under
from us for that? Anything, Scott?
Everyone is working under trying
approved, right?
circumstances. Everyone is working under trying circumstances, and they're doing it cheerfully and with great efficiency. I miss seeing them every day, and I'm sure they miss each other too. Last item that I have, Chairman, is we are going to postpone the June board meeting till sometime in July so that we can award the NHA grants, and I will be working out with Kevin and Barney when that date will be, and we will let you know as soon as possible. The meeting after that is October 14th, and the meeting after that is December 9th. That's all I have. If anyone else wants to add anything?
Yeah, you're doing good stuff, Scott.
Yes, thank you so much, Scott. Any comments or insights or questions from our board members or those on the call?
All right.
Okay.
We will survive this as we have survived so much. Forward, the Hudson Valley.
Yeah. Excelsior.
Here, here. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Lynn.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Greenway team. You're the best around. We're lucky to be working with you. Thank you to all of our board members for your service. And thanks for all of our key stakeholders for joining the call and helping us advance our mission during these difficult times. We look forward to better days ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care. See you soon.
Bye.